Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kim and Glennie show. Hello. We could call it the Canadian show. But we are talking about our favorite tools from Foundation. And as many of you know, I'm Glenise Hughes. I've been a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness since 2012. Oh my gosh. But some of you might not know Kim. So, Kim, would you do a little intro? And I'm going to go and do a technical thing while you do that.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so I'm Kim Coleman. I'm in Nova Scotia. I've been facilitating bars classes, I think, for about 10 or 11 years. I'm not sure. I'm not good with that time thing. So I think it's 10 or 11 years. And I'm also a facelift facilitator. I've been doing that for I'm not sure how many years. Look at my face. I'm actually like in my 80s. No. But yeah. Oh, your screen's frozen again.
That's okay. Let's just continue as though it's not.
Absolutely, because what they can still hear us. But yeah, so I've been jumping in and in with the access world, like I said, for about 10, 11, 12 years, taking all kinds of different classes and the what next and what else is possible. And yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
And I had the pleasure of doing a foundation. Oh, sorry. I had a pleasure of doing a foundation class with you. What was it, last year or the year before or something like that? Online.
Online, right? Back when we could do that. That was so much fun because there was a couple of you that joined together and did it together. So, and as anybody who may not know, we've got some bars and foundation coming up in Halifax, Dartmouth, whatever. In May 25th is bars, and then followed with foundation. So, a big invite to all you guys out there to come and play with us.
Cool.
And I know Kim has other classes in the area also, and of course, I've got other bars and foundations in Alberta and wherever else they may be. So there we go. All right, let's talk about one of your favorite tools from Foundation. Miss Kim, share with everybody what one of yours is.
Geez, you know what? I think one of my favorites is if I choose this, what will it create?
I love that one. I love that
Yeah.
one.
Me too, right? Because we have that choice muscle isn't something that I was taught to build as a muscle or to learn how to be with or to practice. It was, it was, well, as kids, we're told what to do. So there's not a lot of choice building muscle there, right? And then as an adult, well, jeepers, you don't want to make the wrong choice again. So I started to create a choiceless universe where, I wasn't making a choice because I was like, hey, universe, show me a sign. And it was as if the universe was like, well, what is it that you'd like to choose? And I'd be like, show me a sign. Well, what is it you'd like to choose? I'm looking for the signs instead of looking at what is it that I would like to choose and what would that create? That was a big one for me, Glenise.
Yeah, I love that one so much. And just for the listeners, in case they're not so familiar, it's really when you're looking at making a choice, whether it's to go to, movie A or movie B or move to, country A or country B. It's just actually asking yourself, like, if I choose this country A, what will that create? And if I don't choose country A, what will that create? And it's building that, like Kim was saying, that choice muscle so that you're actually choosing and creating rather than, like most of us used to do, sitting and waiting for the sign. Oh, that's
right.
That was me too.
And you know what, with that, and I always, one of the things that went with that for me that I think you also really helped with was also and it's not what it will look like, right? Because when we function from what we think it will look like, as we know, that's just going to be a reference point, right? What will it look like? Well, how could we possibly know what it will look like? Right. And so a look like can actually be a bit of a box, as opposed to what will it be like, which is, okay, the energy's really expanded. Okay, that's what it will be like, is that expansion, as opposed to look like, which is, that look like thing is a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah. It engages our mind, which becomes this limitation because we can only see what we've seen before. And so rather than that, what would it create becomes an energetic and a choosing based on energy, which is a whole new world for most of us. So that's awesome. I
It
would say
is,
one
because
of
most
my
people,
favorite two. Oh, sorry, Kim, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, well, like we've all, but so many people have taught to do the visual. What will it look like? What might that look like? No, it's what's the energy of it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say one of my favorite tools is the interesting point of view tool. And I mean, if people have
Mm.
heard me talk before, they've probably heard me talk about this one because I talk about it so much. But the reason I talk about it so much is that it actually works. It is actually something that when you are in the judgment of yourself or someone else or a situation, whether it's like you stubbed your toe, you're in judgment of that, or there's some huge catastrophe on the earth going on and you're in judgment of that, like big or little, it doesn't matter. And you just kind of take a moment with that judgment, you just be present with it, and then it out loud or in your mind, whatever works, is interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And I get really present with it so that I am really in
Mhm.
that space of recognizing that it's just an interesting point of view. That's all it is, and I will sometimes say it up to, I mean, usually it's 5 or 6 times is enough to change the energy for me, but I have, said it probably over 50 times at a time, just, something really big, something that I didn't feel I could stop judging or I felt was really consuming me. So it's such a huge tool to get out of the judgment because judgment ultimately kills. It doesn't matter what it is, but it kills. So if you're judging, a lot of people like to judge their body, you're energetically you're killing your body, or you like to judge the things that are going on the earth, and you're just adding that heavy energy to it. So try this one, and it looks like Heather has used it once or twice, probably multiple times, because she says it's huge, and it is huge. It is one of those tools that truly you can use anywhere. You just need to know the words. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And you don't need to have anything special with you. You could be sitting on I don't know, a park bench and witnessing something going on, and you're really judging it. And then usually what happens when we judge something or someone is then we take that judgment back to us. So it's really a tool that you can shift it, whether you're judging them, you, or all. And it's just interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Over and over and over. And I've even used it to fall asleep at night if I've really got my mind on something, or I'm worried about something, or really my energy is going into creating something that I'd prefer not to create. I will just say it over and over, and then I just fall asleep easily. So that's my one of my favorite tools. What's another one for you, Kim?
Yeah, I love the interesting point of view. Thank you. Yeah, another one. And yeah, in the foundation class, we go so much more into all of this, right? Um, Another one of my, so allowance and the willingness to be judged, right? Because, I hear so many people going, yeah, I just want to live in what's true for me. And yeah, just being me and being free. And the piece that comes with that is, what's really cool is, yeah, well, if you are willing to be you, which is different than everyone else, and they're different than you, and they're different than them, and they're everybody being their own being in whatever form that takes, we have to be willing to be judged by others. It's just going to happen. If we're not willing to be judged, then I'm going to try to fit into what I think people are going to, how they're going to be able to receive me. So I have to be an allowance of other. It's actually none of my business how other people see me. So if I'm not willing to be me and do my own thing and function from what's actually true for me, I have to be willing to be judged. And it doesn't make them right or wrong, good or bad. And it doesn't make me right or wrong, good or bad. It's just a thing of allowance. It may be, well, I wouldn't choose that thing, but they are. Who am I to judge them for that? So I have to give myself permission to be judged and also be willing to allow others to, and be an allowance of others and what they're choosing. Right. And that, I don't know about you, Glenise, but I was really so aware of that with all the COVID stuff. Right. You have to be willing to be an allowance of other people's choices. Nobody was good, bad, right, or wrong. It was just choices. And can I be an allowance of that? Or am I going to make everybody wrong for what their choice is because it's not the same as mine? Well, it works both ways. If I'm going to do my own thing, I have to be willing to be judged by others. Now, it doesn't mean I have to agree and align with it. Doesn't mean I have to resist and react to it. I just get to do, you know what? It's not a choice they would make. And it is exactly the interesting point of view as well. It's a tool of allowance, which to me, allowance and acceptance are not the same thing at all. Not even. Right. So to me, the energy of I have to accept this, that is like I have no choice. To me, that's a no choice universe again. Can I be an allowance of it? Creates a way different space and a way different energy for me to be an allowance instead of like, I have no choice. I have to accept it. Well, I have to accept it. I have to accept it. That's a no choice thing. Right. But yeah, when we get into that allowance thing, allowing ourselves to be different, but also allowing others to be different, that is where we get to be so free. Otherwise, everybody's judging everybody.
Yes, that's so well put, Kim, because it is something that so many people avoid. So many people are desperate to not be judged. And really, I mean, judgment, all it means is that whoever's judging you wouldn't choose what you're choosing. I mean, look at the last time you judged someone or something. The only reason you judged is because you wouldn't have done it or chose it. That's it. It means nothing, which means it means nothing about us that are choosing whatever's getting judged, or when we judge others, it's about us. And like you say, not right or wrong or good or bad, it's just choices. But it's also a great place to use that interesting point of view tool if you feel like, oh, I don't want to post this thing on social media. What will so and so say? Take a minute, don't post it right away, but do some interesting points of views to get out of that judgment or out of the fear of getting judged, and see if it still feels fun to post. Doesn't mean you have to post it, but just see if it feels fun to post and if there is an expansiveness there, so that you truly start creating your own life, choosing your own life rather than letting people and their judgment control what you choose. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's like, again, it's kind of like asking again. So if I post this, what will it create? Right. And so I love how, it's about, for me, it's about taking all the tools and playing with them and letting them dance together and letting them hang out together and all that kind of stuff. And the foundation truly is, for me, it's really about us learning, becoming more aware of how we're creating our lives.
So true. So true. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the other tool that I want to share, also one that I talk about all the time because it just can change so much, is asking the question of something, like of yourself in a situation. And the question being, what is the value of choosing this? So let's say you wake up in the
Mm.
morning and you're super grumpy. And often when we're choosing, let's say grumpy, well, I'm grumpy because of this, or I drank too much wine last night, or so and so said this about me and I'm grumpy. And if we just take a moment and we just ask ourselves honestly, what is the value of choosing grumpy right now? And we might
Mm.
go, "Oh, well, I'm
I
able to
love
control, maybe my spouse around me because when I'm grumpy, they walk on eggshells," or like you get an awareness of what's really going on. And I would say the first time I truly used this was back in 2014, and I had this theme in my life and had it for years where I would create a lot of credit card debt, then I'd work really hard and pay it off and go, "Oh, never again." And then I would create it again and I would have more and it was just this cycle. And finally one day back in 2014, I asked myself, what is the value of creating all of this credit card debt? And as soon as I asked it, I just got this huge awareness that I was just entertaining myself. It was a great entertainment. Whenever I got a little bit bored, I needed something extra to do. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was so true for me. That's what I was doing with it, and by acknowledging it, by getting that that was the value of doing it, I was then able to change it because then I didn't have to be stuck in, "Oh, I have credit card
Wow.
debt because I'm bad or I'm wrong or I'm horrible with money." No, I'm just bored.
Ah, I love it. That's a good
Yeah.
Denise, that's one of the things I love about watching you and listening to you and all the things is how you apply stuff into your life. So it's not just here's a tool, verbal diarrhea. Because I'm the same way. Like for me, it's about, okay, so how have I used this in my life? What are some practical ways that I have used this in my life? And the willingness to laugh at ourselves. Right? So for
Oh,
me,
boy.
like when I become aware of right? When I become aware of how I'm functioning that's creating that thing, I don't go, "Oh my god, I suck. I'm never gonna get this. I keep sucking." For me, it's more like, "Oh my god, I'm friggin' hilarious. Like, I'm hilarious, and look at me. I noticed it this time. I'm awesome." Right? Because for me, like so many people, they might become aware of how they're creating their lives, and then they turn around and they judge themselves for it. Oh, I did that thing again. No, that's when you get to go, oh my god, I'm friggin' hilarious. I did that thing again. Right? And I noticed it this time. Like to me that is like woo. Right?
Yes.
And you do
Truly,
that
it's
too. You do that too. You laugh at yourself.
I mean, honestly, we have to. Like, I couldn't imagine if I didn't laugh at myself, how horrible life would be. But also, like,
Oh
it's
my god.
it's it's such an acknowledgement when we're able to say, "Wow, I did that thing again. Huh, okay, what's it gonna take to change it?" Or we go into question with it. It's such an acknowledgement that we actually have another choice, that we are the creators of our life because we could choose something different in that moment if we would like to. Doesn't mean we have to, but we could. And that's yeah,
Mm,
I really, as you know, I mean, when I share the tools, I do it very much from story. One, because I have a lot, I have a lot of stories because of all these amazing tools. But also, it's how I learn. It's how I can really receive from the tools when I hear how people apply them, rather than, like you say, just the verbal diarrhea of
mm.
here's this tool, here's this tool, here's this tool. So I love that. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's the here's this tool. It reminds me of remember Charlie Brown. When I was a kid, there was a Charlie Brown thing, and the teacher would always be all you ever heard was oh that's right. Which was and so yeah, so exactly. It's about sharing from the way of sharing and yeah, being willing to be vulnerable and yeah, so I love that about you, Glenise.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you know
awesome,
what? Let's
everyone. Sorry. talked over you. What
Oh,
did
I
you
was
say?
just gonna say, yeah, like for me, foundation and all of the access stuff really is about noticing where you're functioning on autopilot. Now, autopilot is only autopilot as a default until you become aware of autopilot and you make another choice. It's not a wrongness, right? You get to go. Because there's so many things. Like, I don't know about you, Glenise, but when I'm offering these classes and these tools and you start to share stories, people had it's like this. It's a they're jaw-dropping classes because people become aware of, oh my God, I wasn't even aware that I was doing that on autopilot.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. Truly amazing.
Yeah.
So everyone, once again, you are invited to come and play with us. Bars May 25th in Dartmouth and Foundation 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. Would love to have you come and play. Would love to meet you. We are so excited. Hubby brought some books home from the library. One of them is called The Beaches in Nova Scotia. He knows me well.
Waterfalls. We have lots of waterfalls here too.
Ooh, awesome.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Tons of waterfalls and Red Lobster.
There we go. There we go. Awesome. Well, the link is in the chat somewhere, guys. If you don't see it, reach out to either Kim and I. We'll get you the details. And I wonder what magic might be possible that has never been possible before. Thanks so much for coming to chat, Kim. And looking forward to seeing you soon.
Woohoo!
Yay. Bye, guys.
Yay.